Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's show of Sports and Shit, where we talk about sports and shit. Thank you very much for tuning in if you did, and if you are new to the channel, remember, like, comment, subscribe, and share what we are trying to do here at Sports and Shit, which is do some good. Raise some money for charity, which brings me to remind you all that our charity for the month of April is going to be a GoFundMe for the terrible and tragic shootings that happened in Nashville a couple weeks ago. The link to that GoFundMe is going to be right down in the comments below. It'll take you straight to it, and you can go donate however much you please. Now, with that being said, let's get into this week's show. Our first segment in this week's show is going to be news in the NFL. Budda Baker has requested a trade from the Cardinals, so we'll keep up on that. The Steelers have traded for wide receiver Allen Robinson. Just happened today. That's somewhat big news. And also in big news, Jalen Hurts reached a 5-year deal with the Eagles with $179 million guaranteed. That is like one of the highest. He's like one of the highest paid players in the NFL right now. He's earned it. Good shit for him, but also the big headline that broke today is Damar Hamlin can fucking play football again, and that is just incredible news. I shed a tear when I heard the news, and I cannot wait to see him on a football field again. So, yeah, that's really it in NFL news. In news for the NHL, playoff time has started, and the first wave of playoff games have begun over the past week. So, leading in series right now, the Hurricanes lead the Islanders with a 1-0 lead. The Panthers lead the series against the Bruins 1-0. The Wild lead the Stars in their series 1-0. And the Kings lead the Oilers 1-0 in their series. And more round 2 of the playoffs is going to be going on tonight as I am recording this. So, we'll keep you updated with that next week. And also in hockey news, the NY Police Department and the Fire Department of New York had their annual hockey game, and wow, there were some really good fucking fights that came from that game. Just watch.
Oh, here we go.
It's John Pareto for FDNY.
Here we go, boys, versus Jimmy Hall.
James Jimmy Hall, who helped ignite that brawl in 2014. Pareto for FDNY, Hall for the Cops.
Whoa.
It's all Pareto right now.
Pareto comes in with the
John Pareto letting it loose. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Down goes Hall. John Pareto, the icing on the cake, and a flex for the 17,000 strong here on Long Island.
This is a full-out ass-kicking, Whit.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, that Pareto, hell of a game, and then he squares up. He's a lefty, and all credit to Jimmy Hall. He's hurting right now, but I don't think Pareto's a guy you want to mess with, Vince.
No, man. You know who he reminds?
In news for baseball, over this past week, Bobby Witt Jr. hit a home ball to his dad, who was sitting in the suites. The ball just happened to land right there in front of his dad. That was an epic, awesome, wholesome moment. Wholesome. Sorry, I forgot how to fucking talk English. So that was a nice moment to see. And over this past week, the Blue Jays ended the Rays' win streak, so that was nice to see. But starting this week, well, in their game yesterday, starting their series against the Houston Astros, they lost 9-2. Yikes. Now, you could call this football and baseball use. So, UFC center fielder John Plumlee played a baseball game at 5 p.m., went 2-3 with a triple, and had 2 RBIs. He then leaves the game in the 7th inning and got escorted to the UCF spring football game because he's their quarterback on the football team at UCF. So that game started at 7:30, and in proceeding to play that game, he threw 2 touchdowns. He threw 2 tutties in that game, right after playing a fucking baseball game. That is a fucking athlete. That is just incredible. Wow. In news for the XFL, their games happened over this weekend. The Roughnecks beat the Vipers 28-21. The Brahmas beat the Guardians 25-23. The Sea Dragons beat the Battlehawks 38-12. And my DC Defenders beat the Renegades 28-26 in overtime, clinching home field advantage for the playoffs. And not only that, their playoff game is going to be on my fucking birthday. And I'm very much looking forward to it. And overall, it's going to be great. But not only did the XFL have games over the weekend. The USFL had games over the weekend too. The Stars beat the Showboats 27-23. The Stallions beat the Generals 27-10. The Panthers beat the Gamblers 29-13. Josh Love, the quarterback for the Panthers, looking pretty good. Hope he keeps it up. And the Breakers beat the Maulers 22-15. Now, with both leagues playing over the weekend and all having games, all the viewership from their games combined drew in 5 million viewers from both leagues. 5 million viewers in total for spring football games. That is very, very good, and that proves that there is indeed a market for spring football, and we can only go up from here, so let's keep going. Now, there is more sports news to cover, but I'm not going to be covering it. As I briefly mentioned last week, I'm going to be covering some sports segments a little differently from now on because I have somebody else joining the show to help co-host and talk about other games and other sports news with me. So, without further ado, meet my friend Max.
Hello everybody, my name is Max Green and I'd like to thank Dylan for having me on the show today. I'm here to cover the NBA and the wacky world of professional wrestling. With that being said, let's get into it. For this week's WWE news, Drew McIntyre has been reportedly unhappy with the contract offered to him by WWE. His contract will be ending at the end of this year. He's also been unhappy with the current direction they've been taking for him in creative. Cody Rhodes is set to face off with Brock Lesnar at this upcoming WrestleMania Backlash pay-per-view in Puerto Rico. That'll be a great headlining match. And finally, Bad Bunny is set to return next week on Raw, where it is likely that he will be announced to face Dominic Mysterio or Damian Priest. For this week's NBA news, the Sacramento Kings lead the Golden State Warriors 2-0 in the series. Last night's game ending in a 114-106 victory for the Kings. This game has made headlines, not for the score or result, but for Draymond Green stepping on Domantas Sabonis after he grabbed his ankle. Next up, we have the Lakers leading the series versus the Grizzlies 1-0, game ending with 128-112. Lots of people are questioning, maybe LeBron can reach one more championship in his old age. Next up, Russell Westbrook helps clutch up versus the Phoenix Suns. And despite shooting 3 for 17 from the field, he ended up with several key offensive stops, which helped them gain the eventual victory. The Knicks, 76ers, Celtics, Heat, and Nuggets all also picked up wins in their playoff matchups. That concludes all of this week's sports news. Thank you all so much for having me on. Dylan, thank you for having me on the show. Till next time.
Thanks, Max, and thank you guys very much for tuning in if you did. And remember, like, comment, subscribe, and share what we are trying to do here at Sports&Sh. The link to the GoFundMe is going to be down in the comments below, and that's really it. I hope you guys enjoy Max. I love having him here on the show, and I look forward to doing more with him in the future here on Sports&Sh. And that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.